And welcome back to the Nutrimedical Report, and we have Ryan. Ryan, we're getting into the summer. I guess officially it starts the 21st of June, but it feels like summer right now. A lot of people are already taking vacations. What would you recommend to be the top, say, 5 or 6 vacation Nutrimeds?
Well, I guess it depends on where you're going. You know, if you're doing some traveling during your vacations, and there's certainly some things that you want to make sure that you take with you as a good way to protect your immune system during, taking airline flights and stressing the system in that way. And if that's the case, typically, you look at something like the Saccharomyces, where you're talking about probiotics to defend. So the gut defender is just a huge one. Am I saying that right, Dr. Bill? Gut defender? Is that the right one?
Yeah, you're talking about the
Saccharomyces boulardii.
Well, we don't the colon cleanse. We tell people don't use more than one bottle of it, and we've actually put that one because we didn't. It was so powerful, we weren't selling a lot of it, so we tell people we have to special order it, but we can get it in for them. The colon.
Well, I love it. I love it for when they're getting stuck in places like and where the quality of food or water and so forth may not be what it should be, and that also goes for using something like Living Probiotic Ultra. When it comes to your other probiotics,
that's my first choice. Living Probiotic Ultra is my first choice, and that one will actually prevent you, even if you've taken it a month before you go to Haiti, as you know already.
Yes.
The other one I think I like is Allison Med for travel, because it's going to protect you from all the pathogens that get into your gut, because most people don't realize you travel to places like China. Helicobacter pylori is endemic in pretty well every area of China. The reason why the people don't get violently ill is because they have so much garlic in their diet and some other nutraceuticals in China. If it wasn't for the fact that they have a culture that incorporates a lot of nutraceuticals into their foods and a lot of spices that have nutraceutical activity, the Chinese population wouldn't be 1.3 billion. It'd be more like, under 100 million. They've literally saved themselves by a culture that's very centered around food, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Very, very true. So the other thing is, if we're not traveling, we're staying at home, but we're just getting ourselves in shape, staying in shape, feeling good. I point people to look at the shakes. They're so wonderful as meal replacements, stuff that people need, because even during summertime, everybody's on the go with different things. They're not always going to sit down and make a breakfast or make a good healthy snack for themselves. And so something like glycemic meal, if you're still working on your figure, your weight, blood sugar difficulties, things like that, I would be using glycemic meal on a regular basis. It's one of my favorites to use.
That and the carbo block and the lactose blocker. Lactose, most people don't realize that milk sugar, which is glucose and galactose, and carbohydrates in general. And you'll see, for example, discussions by nutraceutical magazines like Dr. Ward Dean talking about acarbose, which is a pharmaceutical grade carbohydrate blocker, but it's nowhere near half as strong as our carbo blocker. And our lactose blocker is the only one in the world that's a neutral pH lactase blocker. So once it's gone past the upper part of the small bowel, all the other lactose blockers have almost no effect in the rest of the small bowel or the large bowel.
Right.
And that's really important. Milk sugar is a major wrecker of your bowel. And it also drives up blood glucagon and insulin levels and causes a lot of we call metabolic syndrome. It's caused by the stress in the gut. So the other thing that we had is this time of year people are getting things like ringworm. I had a consult just actually while I was on break. My wife said, "What do you take for ringworm?" I said, "Well, you want to take orally Allison Med and topically our Nutridyne. And we want to put on muscle and gain weight, somebody who's just underweight and just can't gain weight, we recommend microdose growth hormone, Collagen Max, and the Mega Muscles amino acids, and Supernox, which will release growth hormone. The microdose, which is growth hormone in a homeopathic, and the Supernox will raise your growth hormone production. Your Collagen Max will act as a backbone for rebuilding all your tissues, and the Mega Muscles amino acids is going to dramatically increase your lean body mass increase. Can you tell us about Mega Muscles? What the background to the research on this formula, which has taken us, years of work with a top expert that developed this formula?
Yeah, that's a key. There's lots of amino acid formulas that people, have tried or want to take. All of them claiming to be ideal. What's great is the history of what this is, Mega Muscles has been developed from. For the past 17 years, basically the top researcher in the field of amino acid therapy has put together this combination. And when I say combination, that's exactly what it is, like uncracking a safe code. Only that safe code, in this case, has lots of different variables to it, and specifically 10 different amino acids, and the way that they're put in and their effectiveness is based on their ratios to one another. If you just want to put in a blanket amount of 1,000 milligrams or, so forth of different aminos and say that's great, we're getting a lot, so that should be good, it actually can be self-defeating, meaning if you don't have the right ratios, you will not unlock the key to muscle building in the body. And so that's what this has been done. Over 17 years of research, it started out research in pediatric burn units, and then it's evolved, and a lot of research goes on with elderly individuals because they're at such a high risk of losing their muscle mass. But when it comes to younger individuals, we all build muscle the same way. This key and having these critical essential amino acids available to our bodies in the right ratios maximizes our benefits. And so there's lots of people out there that take lots of whey protein or different types of protein sources going, the more protein, the better, I'll build more muscle. That's not necessarily true. Without the presence of these specific amino acids, you may not be able to utilize the protein like you should or like you could. And so There's an interesting study with this combination where it showed in elderly individuals in bed rest, normally in 28 days, they lose lean muscle mass. But very interestingly, doing nothing more than using the ingredients that are in the Mega Muscle in these ratios, and their lean muscle tissue actually improved, like it gained, without doing anything to make it grow. And that's a big telling sign that obviously you're unlocking the potential of something very unique. So this is a great pre-workout. If you're not into, say, going and lifting weights or something like that, before bed is a really great time to also take it, because we know that's when the body's going to do a lot of its repair and muscle building as well. Right.
Now, what I recommend people do during the day, I like the Sports Energy Light Drink with Omega Muscles, Brain Mag, and Calm Mind. And I throw in some D-ribose and acetyl L-carnitine. And we're soon going to also have NADH capsules. That'll be here in the next few days. The idea is when you the Sports Energy Light, especially with the Mega Muscles, you can pop that during the day. I tell people, don't take it too late in the day. Just take the Mega Muscles if you're going to go to bed, maybe with Brain Mag. The magnesium works along with the Mega Muscles to increase absorption. And the effect, and I can tell you it's dramatic, and I recommend what I call Vibra Fit instead of CrossFit, Vibra Fit, where you have body elastic bands, a Vibra Slim vibrational platform, and resistance bands along with free weights like the Bowflex adjustable weights. I have them go up to 50 to 100 pounds per hand that can be adjusted. And you can use the free weights or the body elastic resistance bands, and the recruitment they're affecting, along with the Mega Muscles powder, the microdose, and the Supernox, which are increasing nitric oxide and release of growth hormone. The Mega Muscles amino acids just zip right into your muscles, and you can feel a difference in a week or two. It's amazing. If you've been exercising for months or years, you'll see a bump in your capacity and your ability to start really improving fitness level, strength, and healing of tissues, not just your muscles, because those amino acids are going to repair connective tissue, joints, etc. They're going to make a big, significant difference to the positive nitrogen balance throughout your body. Pretty amazing, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It is.
Now, the Sports Energy Light Drink, let's go over that for a moment, because people need to grasp just how radical and important this is. It not only replaces things like the 5-hour energy drink, it replaces electrolyte replacement, mitochondrial support, energetics for your it's just an amazing drink. In fact, I'm heading back here at the top of the hour break in 45 minutes to make another big batch for myself to plow through the rest of the day. It's amazing stuff. When we come back, we'll talk to Ryan. Ryan, the Sports Energy Light, let's talk about what are the amazing benefits and what makes it so unique compared to any other formula out there, whether it's 5-hour energy drink or mitochondrial support, electrolyte support. It is just remarkable, isn't it?
Yes. we've talked about this before. This is a fast-growing formulation in the Nutrimedical lineup and the Nutrimed lines, because this is meeting a need that almost everybody has. When it comes to delivering a source for energy, antioxidants, and also what's often missing, electrolytes in our bodies. This is a formulation that can stack up against anything in the marketplace and do quite well. It's got 20 calories per serving. Just as a description, this comes in nitrogen-sealed sachets. So you just rip it open, you can dump it. It fits right in the top of a water bottle, or you can just spoon stir it right into a glass of water if you want. It's berry flavored. There's no sugars in this formulation, and it tastes extremely smooth. So people just love the flavoring of it. However, what we're getting here is the benefit. Like if you were to be a coffee drinker, or maybe you like to go get an energy drink from the convenience store or something like that, caffeine has a short half-life. So caffeine peaks at 15 minutes in our bodies, and typically about an hour and a half later, you've got no benefit. You're typically searching out your next, hit of caffeine. And that's not the case with this formulation. It uses a patented, what they call a caffeine co-crystal, and this material actually changes the half-life. It actually has been in human clinical studies showing to have benefit for energy, cognition, recall at 6 hours after consuming it. And so you're not going to just have this drop-down effect that, wow, I felt really good for a minute and then now it's gone. This actually, for a lot of people that take it, they don't even comment about it, like giving them, sort of a ramp-up. It just feels nice, and it stays that way, that your brain is working and you feel consistently good. I would say that a lot of people, after maybe 30 minutes after drinking coffee, they go, yeah, my mind is working well. I feel like I'm task managing and doing things quite well. Imagine that feeling, only it just stays with you for 6 hours. And then also, electrolytes. The best ones on the market, well, the best promoted ones, advertised ones, people know these. They're the sports drinks, that people are drinking on the sidelines, and, always, the commercials are about how great it is. But they're totally imbalanced. They have very little true electrolytes in them. They usually just have sodium and potassium. And so without getting all four of your electrolytes in there to do cellular balance, that may not be the best thing for you. And so this is a balanced way to deliver electrolytes. And then antioxidants, which you talk about so much on the show, Dr. Bill, because most of the people that are listening to you are challenged. There's a lot of, they recognize the fact that free radical damage and inflammation is something we all battle every single day, and we need to keep it in check as much as possible. And so with this formulation, not only does it have 500 milligrams of vitamin C, just like the form that you see in Power C+, the neutral pH form, so it's highly bioavailable. There's 500 milligrams there. You also have great antioxidants like the S-acetylglutathione material coming in at 50 milligrams per serving. That's basically half of one capsule that you would get if you wanted to use the glutathione detox formulation. And so it's a really great benefit, since that's the number one and most powerful antioxidant our body produces. And then it's got wonderful things, the activated B vitamins, like 2,500 micrograms of B12, and the fourth generation folic acid, as well as amino acid chelates. It can beat down almost any formula. And the bottom line is when people use it, Dr. Bill, they're not going to want to go back. This is a superior choice to pretty much anything they've ever had in the marketplace, and that's why it's climbing up very quickly in the whole Nutrimed product lineup.
Exactly, yeah. Now, people we have people that object to taking capsules. I tell people, open the capsules, mix them in our smoothies. We have four major smoothie combinations: Ageless, Nutri-Complete, which is the best reds and greens, and with goji berry, Life Support, and Glycemics. And the Glycemics vanilla is really great. You can add fruit to it, you can add chocolate to it, you can do all kinds of things because of the neutral flavor. One of the things that people should realize is that the whole approach to NutriMeds is before you get pathology, we're trying to fix the underlying nutritional imbalances, deficiencies, mineral deficiencies, and we use trax amino acid chelates, and we use the metabolically activated forms of vitamins. No other company does this, which means when a naturopath or an MD or a vitamin store gives you a vitamin, your body has to convert it, and if you don't have the genetic capacity because you've got a SNP or polymorphism of your DNA, or you've got a toxic blockade that blocks the enzyme, you're never going to get the converted form into your body where the metabolic reaction is going to occur. even if you have organic food, because your body just can't convert it. When you take Nutrimeds, your body immediately gets that high five handshake to say, my gosh, I can do this. So you take our Vitamineral Max or Minerals Plus, you take other nutraceuticals, and the body says, this is possible. I can actually fix this, right? It's amazing, isn't it?
It is amazing.
It is. When people take it, they say, like my wife years ago, she started the Ageless Life Support, and now she can't start her day without it. It's like, oh, I forgot to take my Life Support Ageless. My day is empty. I said, as soon as she takes, she said, I'm ready to go. Of course. And, Michelle looks many years younger than her actual age. She just looks fantastic because she's taking all the right Nutrimeds and her health is fantastic. And when people start this, the whole aging process slows dramatically. Had someone the other day, they wanted to stop wrinkles, and we said, well, the first thing you do is you start taking Collagen Max. I would recommend also her Majesty's Royal Jelly, which is pro-collagen, but Collagen Max #1, and then add Mountain Red Velvet. Then if you want to release growth hormone, Supernox and Microdose to release the growth hormone. We had someone the other day that wanted to build muscle, and I told them Microdose, Supernox, and Mega Muscles. They wanted to get rid of ringworm. And, of course, we talk about topically our Nutriodine and, of course, orally Allicin Med to get the hyphae. It's interesting, people start taking Allicin Med, their foot fungus and their hair fungus, if they have pityriasis ovale, disappears, which, by the way, can cause you to lose your hair if you're having fungal infections in your scalp. One of the big problems, is, of course, is prostate, and prostate health. We use Vision Max, Prostate Flow, and, of course, to restore male hormone, Men's Max. Male andropause is a big deal. What are your favorites there, Ryan?
Well, Men's Max, because there's such a huge demand when it comes to people, with testosterone challenges. And when I say that, it's people are being told that they have low T, and that's affecting them. But the question is, well, how much total testosterone do you have compared to what's bioavailable in your body? And a lot of times, you might have enough T, you just can't get access to it. And so something like Men's Max is really a very cool, unique formulation. It's an herbal blend that's been studied that shows that it can actually liberate testosterone from being bound up with sex hormone binding globulin and unbind it and allow access for the body and the muscles to be able to use it like it should. And so rather than having to go to the pharmaceutical route that can carry a lot of detrimental side effects, being able to use this as a step can be hugely powerful for a lot of individuals and very safe to use. For people as well. And so we've had remarkable feedback with regards to how well that works for individuals that are starting to kind of slide down that feeling towards low energy, low libido.
First, we not try to rule the world. Rule your body with positiveness, like good organic food, pure water, system water, Nutrimeds, custom designed for you to try to restore your health, to turn back elevated blood sugar and insulin, to reverse negative nitrogen balance so you don't lose all your muscles, to keep your arteries and your skin nice and supple and strong so you don't bump into a wall when you're 70 and your skin tears. You can take Collagen Max, Mountain Red Velvet, start taking Pro Collagen, her Majesty's Royal Jelly. Most people aren't aware of all the toxins they're accumulating in their body. If they're taking Keelar Max and Xenoestrogen Detox, Bio, LVR, and Semethyl, they start to yank all the toxins out. They can't believe all the stuff that's in there. People say, how long should I take it, Doc? I tell them, how long do you want to live? Detoxification is a lifelong process. I recently had a dentist. I talked to a top dentist, Dr. Jeffrey Curbs, who's my dentist in Escondido. And he's, I consider probably the best dentist I've ever been to. He's a cosmetic as well as a biological dentist, and I said, even though you do a fantastic job of taking out mercury amalgams, he's removing the last of mine in another week or so. I had a couple of stragglers, and I've been taking them out over the years. And I said, when you've got to do detox forever because it's not in the teeth anymore years later, it's in other organ systems in the body. Plus all the toxins coming in every day from Fukushima Daiichi, from the food that's been contaminated with heavy metals and all kinds of chemicals like glyphosates. If you don't detox, you're dying. You're getting sicker. So, Ryan, let's talk about that for a minute. The whole detox area of xenoestrogen detox, life support, NutriDefense, things like that are going to help to pull the toxins out. Kelar Max, our ultra-liquid zeolite. Samethyl, which helps methylation pathways. Superfolate, which is 5-methylfolate, and Power Methyl B12. BioLVR is what I call the entry level because it has the activated B6, B12, and folic acid in a lower concentration than these other Power Methyl B12 and Superfolate. It's a big deal, and the problem is the population doesn't realize until they have a serious health problem. They've been bioaccumulating toxins that are going to make their immune system weaker, so they grow stealth pathogens and start to turn on cancer or develop vascular disease or dementia.
Mm-hmm. Well, all these toxins that we're exposed to, obviously, it's our body's design is to try to neutralize them, get them out before they do damage. But based on just the overwhelming and abundance amount that we're exposed to, stress levels, the diet issues, a lot of our foods being depleted of nutrients, we're just left kind of indefensible against quite a few of these. And so something like xenoestrogen detox, what a cool formulation this one is, in the sense that it's designed to help with one of the major challenges our bodies face, which is estrogen. Now, each of our bodies produces estrogen, women more than men, obviously. But in our environment, people don't know about this, but the xenoestrogen, which is the estrogens that are created chemically outside of our bodies, are typically found in things like fuels, drugs, plastics, pesticides. They're literally everywhere in our environment. And so no matter what you are, a woman or a man, you're being exposed to an abundant amount of these things. And when you are, it's sending in messages that you don't want, and it's hitting tissues and causing triggering mechanisms that you don't necessarily want. And so when you look at what's a great way to protect your body, using the ingredients found in xenoestrogen detox is a way to help neutralize these things that are coming from these external sources, but also helping to support the metabolism of normal estrogen in the body as well, and keeping it healthy on that side. And so really from early on in the teenage years all the way through, our older years. But this is a formulation that when people ask what ranks right up there with, say, your probiotic and your multi, this is it. It's also got some of the key ingredients that we've talked about many times, Dr. Bill, in the formulation like Regenerex. And Regenerex is one that we look at as it's a modern science antioxidant formula. By that I mean it doesn't just rely on what you call ORAC value. ORAC value is something a lot of people have heard about. People talk about it, whether it's a chocolate bar or a healthy shake, a high ORAC value. That means the substance is available to give up its electrons very easily in order to neutralize a free radical. And it used to be thought that ORAC value would be the best way to judge anything that you consume. However, it turns out some things that don't even have a high ORAC value are actually even more protective and can do more things for your body. And those substances are things like curcumin, sulforaphane, resveratrol, things like alpha-lipoic acid, green tea. Some of these substances actually don't give up electrons all that well, or don't have enough to give up very well. But yet they work on very vast areas of the body. And the reason is they're very good at doing something that scientists have just figured out recently, and that is regulating what's called the NRF2 pathway. NRF2 is a communication pathway that helps our body to identify how do we deal with inflammation, how do we know when we need to detox something, and how do we know when we need to trigger our own antioxidant production. And so formulations like xenoestrogen detox have these ingredients built into it. Ageless has these ingredients built into it. Life Support has these ingredients built into it. Regenerex that I just talked about, that's what the formula is, designed around making sure you have these ingredients, not because they have the high ORAC value, it's because they're using substances that help balance the way that your body needs to defend itself and recognize what challenges are out there.
Exactly, yeah. Now the whole range of nutraceuticals too, we artfully try to put it together in protocols that are constantly evolving and improving. When we use things like omega cod liver liquid, it is the counter to using cholesterol-lowering drugs. You have to replace your essential fat-soluble vitamins, EPA, DHA, and, of course, the phospholipids. And it literally prevents cholesterol oxidation, but it also lowers elevated cholesterol, which is basically trying to repair or damage the endothelial lining. We use that along with malignant block and ellagic acid to repair your endothelial lining of your arteries. And, of course, our cardiovasc, cell detox glutathione that stops hydroxyl ion, and carnosine, very important. But the cod liver liquid, let's talk about that for a minute, because a lot of people don't realize we have 3 different major omega fatty acids: omega cod liver liquid, omega supreme, which is the highest concentration EPA DHA, pharmaceutical grade with absolutely no toxins or solvents, and then omega supreme krill, the only krill oil in the world that actually has astaxanthin. The rest of them have it on the label. It's not present in the soft gels. And astaxanthin is one of the most bioprotective of the brain and blood vessels you can get in terms of phospholipids. So let's talk about this for a moment.
Yeah, the fatty acids are such critical building blocks. Every cell in our body requires them. And so people have heard fish oil is good. Americans in particular do not eat, good quality fish, nor very much of it, in order for it to make an impact. So as we're getting a fish oil that's extremely clean, like Omega Supreme, you can deliver high amounts per soft gel, 900 milligrams of EPA and DHA. That's the beneficial components you're looking for. That's 3 times more than you're typically going to find in a health food store fish oil supplement. And it's also been tested at an extremely high level so that, according to global standards of acceptable fish oil, this type of material will be 50 to 70% lower in the standards of things like heavy metals, PCBs, anisodines. It's such a difference in the quality that you can put into your body, and that's critical for long term and getting the best results. And so something like Omega Supreme, the Omega Supreme krill that you just brought up, what a cool substance this is. It delivers EPA and DHA at a much lower level, but because of its format as a phospholipid, it's got this ability to get into the body and do some remarkable things in a different way. It also has that, I like to call it the payload of a very powerful antioxidant known as astaxanthin. Astaxanthin is a substance that actually you would note it as something that turns flamingos pink, or it gives shrimp the color that they have, that you'll see that pinkish tint when you get them out. Now the thing is, behind it, astaxanthin has this remarkable effect to protect the body in so many different ways, from the eyes all the way to the brain.
Yeah, your retina, your eye, to your artery walls, to your brain tissue, to your aorta and your blood vessels, your arteries and veins. Amazing, and of course that goes along with vein away to protect against spider nevi, varicose veins, etc., in the eyes, the arteries in the back of the eye. Back in a moment. I want to talk about energetics. CoQ10 is really important. CoQ10 Supreme, we have the only in the world non-polymerizing or crystallizing CoQ10. We also have CoQ10 Supreme Ubiquinol. And what's the difference, and why do you take both? I take both every day. The ubiquinol is actually more absorbed than the CoQ10, but it's a reserve form, and the body back converts it into CoQ10 as it needs it. You actually need both forms. It's actually, the CoQ10 itself is relatively short-acting. I take usually 6 in the CoQ10 in the morning and 3 of the CoQ10 ubiquinol, and half that dosage in the evening. I think it's important for people to realize the CoQ10, along with our vascular carnitine, things to protect your ion channels like gamma E+, and never ever take a calcium channel blocker, never ever take a non-selective beta blocker, and realize if you take diuretics, you're pulling out all the minerals out of your body too, so if you don't replace them with Vitamin Mineral Max Minerals Plus, you're going to end up with significant mineral imbalances. And magnesium potassium, with magnesium potassium citrate, you can replace your potassium with magnesium glycinate malate. So let's talk about CoQ10 and CoQ10 ubiquinol. These are important. A lot of people get confused about why we have both.
Well, I think you did a pretty good job right there of just letting them know these different formats exist to meet their needs. Some people will, often say like, well, I heard or I think, and both forms are totally valid to be able to use. The CoQ10 Supreme Ubiquinol. And so that's being open, because the research is there on either one that you can use. However, usually most people, as you say, start with the CoQ10 Supreme, and they just, the body can obviously take it from that format and move it into ubiquinol. But there are a few people out there that may have a genetic propensity not to do that, and they won't get the benefit from that form. So then you move them over to the CoQ10 Supreme Ubiquinol. And both of these formulations are highly bioavailable to the body. And CoQ10 is one of these critical substances that if we don't have it, we're not going to produce energy like we should. And energy is like the number 2 reason anybody even wants to seek out medical advice. What do I do about my low energy issues? And if you're over the age of 40, if you've taken medications, including things like statins, most likely you basically depleted CoQ10 because it is something that depletes over time anyway as we age. So we kind of set ourselves up to have these energy challenges. And so people really just start thriving and feeling so good when they can restore their CoQ10 levels. But unfortunately, most of the things that you can take in the retail market are highly unbioavailable. You just don't absorb them. They crystallize, they don't get across the gut, and they don't make an impact on the serum levels like you need. And so these solve those issues, and people respond extremely well with them.
Yeah, I had my test done last summer at Genova Metametrics called a cardio ion panel. And when I get my report back from the doctor that did an overview analysis, he said, I can't believe how high your CoQ10 levels were. I said, that's because I take our Nutrimeds. Oh, the big O. And it makes a big difference. Another thing that we use very regularly for stopping sun damage, skin damage, inflammation is curcumin cream. It's the topical liposomal form of our cell defense, and it's also in our Regenerex capsules that helps the body epigenetically. It's one of the best repairers of DNA in the skin and sun damage. Curcumin cream, very important, isn't it?
Well, it gives you a different way to use this very valuable weapon. So being able to apply it to the body directly into areas that you would like to have this really powerful antioxidant effect is so handy. Obviously, we love cell defense. The formulation that really, almost anybody could be taking because of, like I discussed earlier, the NRF2 aspects of how it works in the body to do so many beneficial things. So you got cell defense as the tablet version that's controlled release, and then you back it up with being able to use this version topically in specific areas that may need extra assistance. I think it's wonderful, and it's white curcumin, so you don't get the staining of your hands or anything like that, so you won't look like Bart Simpson either.
The other area that's important is digestion, and I call the twins of digestes to restore stomach acid and pepsin level, and gastrozyme to restore digestive enzymes. Often you need both in order for it to work optimally. It's very common, especially in women over age 40. It happens in men too, even in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. It's a really big issue. I've even seen it in teenagers where they have hypochlorhydria, low hydrochloric acid, and pepsin production. Let's talk about digestes and gastrozyme.
These formulations are really important for anybody that's suffering from digestive difficulties. There's a huge amount of money that's being spent by Americans and people all over the world when they're like, oh, I just don't feel good when I eat. I have to take antacids. I have to take X, Y, and Z to stop gas, bloating, and you name all the issues. And so look at something like Digestes. If you have symptoms of digestive problems within an hour and a half of eating, most likely there's a lack of stomach acid that's allowing you to break down your food properly. So if you eat something, it feels like kind of a brick. It's sitting in there. It's just not breaking down. Then you use Digestes. It's a really neat 2 forms of hydrochloric acid, pepsin, and gentian root combination. It works wonderfully. The other formula when you look at is the gastrozyme. And this one is a complete vegetarian enzyme formula. And when there's issues that are occurring about an hour and a half to 2 hours after eating, where you're getting bloating, pain, gas, foul-smelling stools, food particles in the stool, stuff like that, then certainly that's telling you that there's probably some problems with enzyme activity and being able to break that down properly. And so these can be used in combination for people that do have a lot of challenges. But, man, it's wonderful to see people, they've been stuck on acid-inhibiting products and things like that, just be able to walk away and go, how weird is this that I add acid and I solve my issues when all these years I've been suppressing the problem by suppressing the acid. Very interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? The problem is it's the exact opposite of what you would have thought.
Yeah, it's seriously, it's lack of knowledge. It's wild that, because you suffer what feels like high acid and you suppress it when in fact You can have low acid but suffer a symptom like high acid because you are maldigesting. You are not able to digest your food properly. So,
interesting. The combination. So the other thing is to report the gut wall. We use berberstatin and Allicin Med. Berberstatin very effective at killing off the gut yeast and pathogens. Another one that we haven't talked about for a while is Green Tea Select. This boosts your metabolism rate. It also pulls a lot of the toxins out of your body, xenoestrogens. It's another detox. It has a very interesting antiviral property too. The antiviral properties of catechins and anti-cancer properties. So each capsule equivalent to 10 pots of green tea. That's an organic, if you want to call it extract, 600 milligrams ECGC catechins, polyphenols. It boosts metabolism rate to help burn off calories. So it's very effective in a whole range of areas, and it's actually pretty popular. A lot of people love it. Some of the other ones for joints are Inflamex, Joint Performance, Tendon Mender, and Collagen Max. Let's talk about these for a minute because a lot of people are rushing off to get orthopedic surgical consults or thinking about joint replacements, or they're doing all kinds of things like chiropractic maneuvers, when really if you don't fix the tissue, it's not going to work. And especially with people doing we call CrossFit type exercise, which I consider extremely stupid. They're going to get damaged from micro tears and eventually a macro tear of their capsules, of their shoulders, their joints. They're going to blow discs in their back. Let's talk about these for a minute. Collagen Max, Tendon Mender, Joint Performance. These are amazing, aren't they?
Yeah, I would start with Tendon Mender since that one plagues so many people, which is they've created some kind of repetitive motion injury, and that could be in the shoulder, elbow, the hands, knees, or something going on with the foot like planters or Achilles issues. And it is just remarkable at how well this works to take people that have been sort of struggling. They might be putting bands, support bands around different joints like a knee or an elbow, or using wrist guards so that they don't move in a certain way. But it's fascinating what Tendon Mender can do. It's like kind of doing a reboot of your whole computer program. And it's doing so by letting the tendons back, get your range of motion back, and be able to reduce a lot of inflammation. Enjoy your life. It's wonderful.
Amazing. Well, Ryan, enjoy your vacation next week. We will be bringing on in the next couple of weeks lots of new nutraceuticals. NADH we're adding to our protocol, nicotine, adenine, dinucleotide hydride, the Nutrimeds line, and the protocols, and doing major updates in the next few days. You'll see it on our wellness conditions. If you want a consult with one of our elite customers, you get that phone or email consult free. Anybody can email me a question on any issue, and I will try to provide them a quick answer. If I get inundated with tons of records, though, I will charge you a consult fee to analyze all of the advanced records you're going to send in. We want you to fill in my history form. When we come back, hour number 3, Tim Alexander will be here, and at the bottom of the hour for just a couple minutes, Chris Harris, our nuclear expert.